What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. It's time for another episode of my series, Problems I Have With. Problems I Have With is a series where I talk about obviously problems or issues that I personally have or else see with a certain musician, maybe a band, a public figure, whatever it might be. Today is actually kind of a new thing that I've never done before with the series. I'm talking about a specific social network, and that network is Tumblr. Tumblr is kind of a cesspool for a lot of different things, and there's definitely plenty of issues with it. It's not just them, obviously. Every social network has its things that are really bad about it, and for the most part, I stay away from most of them other than really Instagram and Twitter. Those are my two favorite ones, and even though there are many, many flaws to them, today I want to talk about the one that I probably have the most problems with outside of Facebook, and that is Tumblr. It's something that's oriented with kids, I would say, more tweens, teenagers, and with problems I have with, I generally try to do this with kind of a thinking out loud type thing where I ponder aloud my thoughts on this. I try to go as unscripted as possible. I made 5 bullet points for this specific one, and before we get into that and before I start talking about these problems, I want to say right off the bat before you criticize me for saying, oh, you've never been a part of this, you were never in Tumblr, you never were a part of Tumblr, you don't understand it. I actually did have a Tumblr account for a while, dating all the way back to I think 2011 originally, and some of you OG fans might remember this. My old website, albumreviewtv.com, was hosted by Tumblr. That was a decision that I made back then in 2013, and I would never make it in 2017. I didn't really like the experience all that much, but I just didn't understand the platform, and honestly there were a lot of things that pushed me away from renewing the website, but just hosting it on Tumblr, even though it was free, was one of those things. I just didn't like being involved, and I didn't like the things that were kind of growing out of it and the things that I was seeing. And obviously checking back on it years later, I've seen some other issues come into the light. So without further ado, please drop a like on this video, and here is my first point. Before I start talking about this one, I want to say that I understand that Tumblr can be used for many different things, and it's not just all these crazy people, whether it be crazy fans or crazy people that have all of these weird ideas that they want to find other crazy people to discuss things with. Obviously, there's crazies on every site, and there are plenty of good people that use Tumblr, so do not think that I am generalizing everybody on the platform. With that being said, I want to talk about how Tumblr kind of encourages and almost glorifies some seemingly horrible things. Obviously, with it being mainly, I feel like, kids, late teenagers, you know, up until like their early 20s and that sort of thing using the platform, there's some very weird and kind of shocking things that you can come across. Now, one thing that's very noteworthy is the fact that there's accounts dedicated to kind of almost praising the just genius of things like mass shooters and then murderers that go on these rampages, serial killers, and there's things that are dedicated to Jeffrey Dahmer, somebody who is obviously a very, very terrible and despicable human being, and they kind of pick apart and seemingly love the things that he does. It's really, really weird. It's kind of almost unnerving to see these things come into the light and to see people actually talking about them, reblogging, sharing, posting pictures, trying to get into his brain and almost saying things like, I wish that I could do this myself. Researching murderers and maybe other horrible people is one thing, but going that extra step and treating them like a rock star is entirely another. It's just a no, and it's something that I think that we should denounce, and I think that Tumblr should be stricter on. At the end of the day, there's only so much you can police. It's just kind of disturbing the fact that these people have a place to congregate online, and I wish that there could be something more of like a policing effect from the community that could be done to take down accounts like this. Obviously, being involved with the music scene myself, I see no shortage of fandoms, fangirls, fanboys, people going absolutely nuts and almost kind of attacking people, definitely attacking people at times for their opinions on things, whether it be them not being a fan of something like 21 Pilots or Panic at the Disco, or having a strong opinion on one of their songs. It's just absolutely absurd, and I feel like Tumblr is one of those places where people just kind of congregate, and it promotes that mob mentality of like, hey, let's rise together and we can like just hate on this one person, or they didn't like this song, or they didn't like this book, or whatever it might be, and they rise up and just send a negative wave of hate these people's way, and it's absolutely absurd. I've seen it happen to myself, I've seen it happen to others in the community, and it's kind of deeply disturbing that there are communities like this, not only on Tumblr, but just existing in general, to really give power to these people that just want to so badly be liked and supportive of an artist or a band or an author, whatever it might be, that they just rise up and send hate, not knowing, I guess the original artist would never know that the amount of people that are sending hate instead of just the love that many of these people pack into their lyrics and their books, their screenplays, whatever it might be, it's really kind of deeply rooted into these people. Like, it's like, hey, I love you, so I'm going to defend you by attacking others that don't agree. So I think the biggest example that I see of this, obviously the one that I have the most experience with, is these fandoms that just pop up on Tumblr. And most recently, I believe it was like a 21 Pilots one that I saw got reblogged a lot. There was like, obviously it was originally posted to YouTube, but I saw it pop up on Tumblr, lots of reblogs and that sort of thing. It was called 21 Pilots Try Not to Get Mad Challenge, and there were people like just reblogging it, adding notes and stuff, and my clip of me talking about their Cancer cover by 21 Pilots. That was included in the compilation of Trying Not to Get Mad. And obviously people not knowing anything about me, the fact that I actually am a fan of that band, just assume that I was just another hater, start trashing my physical appearance, all these other things. And these are kids, these are tweens, these are very young children that are just freely allowed to do this. Obviously no supervision. And it's like if 21 Pilots or their parents or whoever might ever see this would never want them to do these things. And it's just a weird position, I feel like, to put a band or really anybody in, because you ask them about their fan base and they're like, yeah, they're super supportive and everything, and you can't really just come out and trash them. But places like Tumblr give them such a loud voice where they just start to obsess over these people. You see people absolutely obsessed with all of these band members, like a girl actually going to Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco's house, stalking him. Many people would do that. Parents actually taking them there. There's a problem with parents in the first place, and then just all these people rallying around them like, oh my god, you're living the dream. No, you're invading somebody's privacy, and thank god that many people actually seem to see this as wrong and are calling these people out. But at the end of the day, there's not enough being done to stop this kind of thinking. It's really just obsessive. You see people just analyzing things about Patrick Stump and Pete Wentz of Fall Out Boy and all of these other bands, talking about very, very personal things, talking about like their dick size and stuff. It's absolutely absurd that these children are talking about such things and writing fan fiction, all these other things. It all goes viral on Tumblr and it needs to be stopped. One of the weirdest aspects of Tumblr for me is the fact that there's pretty much just porn really anywhere that you want to look for it. There's many blogs dedicated to it, and it's not hard to find whatsoever. I think that sometimes they kind of like block search results depending on your age and that sort of thing. I'm not super sure because I don't spend time on Tumblr, but I just know that me personally, obviously, I can't show it here in the video because, there's nudity. You know, it's not very hard to find, just a few searches, and it's really all of these GIFs that are so popular, and you see all these people just reblogging it and sharing it like, oh, goals. And I think that it definitely just kind of is impressionable to people, especially since the fact that there's so many users under the age of 18. I know there's plenty on both sides of the fence, but still, all of these kids easily seeing these things, maybe they follow people that are older and they're reblogging it so it's in their feed. Even if they don't follow it in the first place, more than likely you're gonna start seeing things like that. And I know that, oh my god, porn, so taboo. It's just the fact that there's really young children on here. I mean, you think about the people that have this mentality of maybe just fandoms and that sort of thing in general, them being so young, like 10 to 14 years old. There's things on there that they shouldn't be seeing, like just accounts dedicated to things like S&M, bondage, and all of these other things that are being shown in GIF form or even video form, photos and that sort of thing. It's rough, it's raw, it's bad, and it shouldn't be on a social network, at least in my opinion. You would think with a bigger company buying Tumblr out that maybe they would try to crack down on it. It's just kind of in bad taste to me. It'd be like YouTube allowing porn uploads. This is a very important and big topic for me because I really feel like this one is true, and I feel like it's something that happens way too often. It gives people the wrong idea of what the world is like. It alters the impressionable teenager's mind and what the idea of goals or what happiness is. And they see these sexual gifs, or they see all of these things that people post, whether it be clips from a movie or gifs from a movie with a quote on it about what happiness is, or what this ultimate relationship goal is, and these perfect looking models and tattoos and piercings and just all of these things that they think that they're supposed to aspire to be, whenever in reality, obviously, they should be being what they want to be, not just what they see. Now, obviously, with teenagers being impressionable, they're more inclined to following whatever the trend is or whatever they see, instead of just trying to be 100% unique and original, because I know myself, coming from that insecure point of view, we see what other people are doing. We don't try to start our own trends because of that nervousness and awkwardness at that age. But seeing all of these things on Tumblr, I think it really does alter the perception of what the goal in life actually is. It's not about having these fancy piercings or these fancy cars or this ultimate relationship where you have super cute kisses in black and white in the bed. It's more than that, and I think that it's truly kind of affecting a lot of people these days and making a lot of kids depressed. You see the amount of time that they spend online looking at these things, shipping things. Obviously that's a big one, where they look and you just see like maybe a gif of Brendan Urie and his wife doing something, and it's just all of these people crying and screaming that I will never have this, or I'll never truly be happy until I have this. And it makes me so sad, because it's like, I hope that I know that you're gonna grow out of this, but part of me knows that with this new generation, people aren't really growing up and moving on, at least not a lot of people. I've been sitting on the fence with this idea for a long time. I didn't know whether to make the video or not, but it's something where I logged back onto Tumblr, I got back into my account, and I just saw the cesspool that I feel like it is, and I decided that I did want to make this video. I've had the thumbnail made for quite a while. My girlfriend, Infinity on Hannah, did an incredible job with that. Make sure you check out her channel. It's linked in the description down below. Let me know your thoughts on Tumblr. Obviously, like I said, there's good people and good things that can come from there, but overall, I just feel like it's been a culmination of kind of bad things, or at least mediocre and old and recycled ones. Anyways, sound off in the comment section down below and let me know your take on it. Please leave a like on this video while you're here, and let me know, are there other topics that you would like to see me cover right here on Problems I Have With? If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. If you're able to support me on Patreon, it is that annotation over in the corner of the screen, or else the top link down below. It really helps videos like this keep coming on a monthly basis. A couple of recent videos, including the last Problems video right there. Socials in the description, and I'll see you very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.